Test. Test. Can I get some hi-hat? Alrighty, that was Water Park Radio ad by... Thought I had who that was by. I think Freedom something Studios. Sorry about that I don't have that information. That's one of the free songs that you can get from YouTube, so that there's no copyright problems. Alrighty, once again, you see the 3,000 on there. Thank you. That's 3,000 watched hours in the last year. Thank you so much for those. And I'll go through my plugs. Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation assessment with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Also, alternatively, Cash App, $ Coach Steve Money, or Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. Of course, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/coachstevemoney, where you are right now. Alrighty, let's get into the questions. Oh, let me finish plugging myself. Coach Steve Money on YouTube. Bunch of Oak Island stuff if you're interested in that. This show, answering your financial questions with Coach Steve Money, and this one is the 64th one, I believe. And right below that is the music playlist, and that has 8 different Ramsey adjacent songs, so give those a listen if you want. Looks like that Lifestyle Creep song, only 41 views. Wow, okay. Not as many views on some of these. And of course, the Ramsey Show After Show. This show is 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturdays and Sundays, and the Ramsey Show After Show will be on Monday, tomorrow. February 19th. And that's at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right after the Ramsey Show video ends. Alrighty, so the foundation of the Ramsey plan is these 7 baby steps. And I'll go over them really quick if I can. The step 1, 2, and 3 you do in order, one at a time. And step 1 is save $1,000 for your start emergency fund. Step 2 is you pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball that is smallest to largest. Step 3, 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Again, you do those one at a time, not all at the same time, and you don't skip ahead to, say, 4, investing. And that's 4, 5, and 6 are done all at the same time. Not as 1, 2, and 3, but 4, 5, and 6 are all done together at the same time, but still in order. So first you would take your snowball amount and invest 15% of your household income into retirement. A little bit that's left over, whatever you need to address as far as kid college, if anything. And if they're young children, you could just set aside a little bit per month and focus on paying off the house early, which is step 6. And so getting that house paid off early is stressed over more investing at this time. And having a paid off house is excellent for retirement, because then you don't have a mortgage or rent payment. And step 7, build wealth and give, and that one is eternal. Step 4 is pretty much eternal as well. If you don't need the money to live on in step 7 in retirement, if you don't need the money, you can just continue to invest in a brokerage account, because you wouldn't be able to do a retirement account at that time if you're already retired. All right, so we go to reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. We sort by new, and I go from the bottom up so I don't miss any questions, because there are only 1,000 questions at a time, and I do run out of questions sometimes. All right, so a car loan. All right, hi guys. I'm very anti-debt. So basically, a car loan, though, the answer is no, but let's see if they are the exception. No one ever is. Okay, I'm very anti-debt. I'm lucky enough to be in a position that I could just pay off all my wife's debt after we got married. Okay. She had an app to track her car loan, and she paid the full listed amount of a $22K-ish. The interest rate around 7%, doesn't matter. The term had 4.5 years, doesn't matter. You're paying it off as soon as possible. After doing this, she logged in a week later, and the balance due is still $600. The next payment was not due until 2028. It feels like a scam. Is there a good way to approach this that will cost less than the $600 owed? I'm doubtful any customer service rep will do anything. Is there a chance that the contract charges a fee for early payoff? Anything's possible. That's why you need to put your eyeballs on the paper and you read all of the contract before you sign it. So it's possible. Some of them have, some loans have it written into the loan itself that you do pay all that interest regardless of whether you pay it off early or not. So a lot don't, though, and that's why you would pay things off early, so like your house, so that you don't have to pay all that interest. So, but excellent. You'll be able to pay that off as soon as you're married. Excellent. This from Beastie Cheese. Investing, 15% investing isn't easy. The amount or just investing anyway? I will preface by saying I'm from Australia, mate. So I know expenses and income are different to USA. My husband and I are, well, that doesn't sound like a female. My husband and I are baby step 4, 5, and 6. Okay, does anyone else feel like for me, investing 15% is really hard, especially when you're also trying to add more to the mortgage. All right. Well, the 15% would be your priority. You do them still. You are doing 4, 5, and 6 all in a row. I mean, all together at the same time, but you're not. You're doing them in order still. So you would do 15% first, and then add more to the mortgage if there was any left over. And you should have stuff left over, because everything that you previously had in your debt snowball, where is that going now? Is there so much more spending now that you have the full emergency fund? I mean, I understand not being as gazelle once you get the full emergency fund done, but you shouldn't start going crazy with spending. So let's see what's up here. Oh, it's gonna be a bunch. Let's open her up. I'm about to go on maternity leave with my second, and we pay $900 per month for childcare for my first. I'm hoping I can pull her out a few days once my routine with the baby is established, okay? Yep. And maybe if you are working now, and now that you would have 2 babies in childcare, maybe don't do childcare. Maybe the spouse that makes the least money would stay home instead. Let's see, our household income is just over $12K per month. That's pretty good. I mean, that's $144,000 a year. We'll drop to 9K once I'm on leave, okay, and also maybe forever. But then you don't have to pay the. You said $900 for childcare, so that'd be $1,800 for childcare. So then that, if you work it out that way, so you're making 3 per month, and so then 1,800. So basically, you would make $1,200 a month for working full time, by having 2 children in childcare. So again, that would be something that I would look at, and see if you can make that 1,800 up in a different way, from home or working part-time. Let's see. I know on paper this sounds wonderful. I calculate annual amounts of all household bills and set aside the monthly portion to reduce bill shock. Okay. There's swimming lessons and sports. See, there doesn't have to be that. That doesn't have to be everything. Just pick 1 or 2 things. Pick swimming lessons, not and all sports. Just do swimming lessons, maybe 1 other thing. A small portion of fund spending for both my husband and I. People say small portion. I wonder what that is. Mortgage is $3K per month. Maybe you have too much house there. Groceries average $1,400 per month. That seems for 3 people. Maybe you've already increased it for the forthcoming child, which will be 4 people. But still, that's excessive. So I don't think things are that much more expensive in Australia. And you may be buying the more expensive stuff. We don't have any family available to relieve the childcare costs. No, I'm suggesting that one of you do it. We don't go out to dinner or order takeaway. It's too expensive, and dinner out with a toddler isn't always the best. That much is certain. I hope this doesn't come across as woe is me, like poor me. No, you're just trying to figure it out, but it might be the house. I mean, theoretically, you're not making any debt payments. How were you able to pay? Did you pay off debt, or did you never have any? You might have taken the foot off the gas too soon after you completed baby step 3, which you can start doing fun things as well. But the problem is when you compound, we're going to spend a little bit more money and do some fun things. When you compound it with, swimming lessons and sports, okay? a mortgage that sounds like it's too high, all right? And then another child. See, it keeps everything keeps adding up, and you want to be able to do everything all at the same time. And sometimes you can't do that. So I would need to look at the, let's see, it doesn't say how much this, $3K per month, doesn't say how much the, that's right at the 0.25%. And that's supposed to be at net. So that is, regardless, that's too much house. Because that's over 0.25%. So, I mean, you could get away with it. But the problem is, again, child care, child activities, which could cut some of those down. And again, another child. And maybe spending too much at the grocery store. So let's see, I'm not sure where else I could cut that isn't eating into set expenses. Right, the bills, food, childcare, those might not need to be set expenses. Maybe some of that can be cut out as well. Maybe during this #season, I have to manage expectations and put progress in this area on hold. No, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that, but you would do the 15% before putting more to the mortgage. So definitely do the 15% because I assume people want to retire one day. So that is what I suggest on that. So I haven't lived there, so I don't know if things are really crazy. Maybe you move to a lower cost of living area as well. And sometimes that's unfortunately the answer. I'll quit playing with the mouse and highlighting things. Yeah, I think I said everything I want to say for that. Yep, you just got to look out. I mean, there's just sometimes you just have to take something where you think, well, okay, I'm going to do this, and this is my cut budget, and I'm not going to compromise on any of the rest of it, so that we can get that house paid off early. So sometimes people decide that. And so that's, my name is Paul, and that's between y'all. But again, like I said, since it's too much house, you don't have the wiggle room to do all of this other stuff at the same time. So might need to cut back on child one's activities. I mean, like, I don't know about in Australia, but in the United States, like travel sports, travel baseball, travel hockey, those are a fortune. Alrighty, so yeah, so that's, that again, 4, 5, and 6 here. Invest 15% of your gross income into retirement. That comes before the other two. So you would, if you run out of money, it would be on baby step 4 or baby step 5. Affectionate East 495, pure curiosity. When you started, how many of you had an income problem versus a spending problem? Well, it's always that, isn't it? One way or the other. Let's see, I've bounced between both. Oh, okay, interesting. I've had a couple people ask advice and always suggest asking for a raise and dissect your spending. Absolutely, because when you budget and you see where every dollar is going, then you can cut some of that stuff out, and then it's like you're getting a raise even though you're not actually getting a raise. It's because you're actually paying attention, and then so you know where the money is going, and then you decide, oh, let's not let it go there anymore and let it stay with me. And then that is like you get a raise. But yeah, you could do both. Then I suggest starting the snowball. Well, you don't wait for a raise. You do dissect your spending. You do a budget first. That's baby step 0. forthcoming video on baby step 0 and baby step 3B, the missing baby steps. All right, so Posh Geek. Explain to me like I'm 5. Setting up funds. Okay, that's great. I have to say that to people sometimes, especially females, because I can't tell what they're thinking. So I have to say, explain this to me. You're assuming that I know what you're talking about. I don't. So yeah, explain it to me like I'm 5. Okay, so that's the beauty of the Ramsey advice, because it is very simple language. And so if you read the book Total Money Makeover, it is a very fast read because it's very simple language. And so it's awesome that way. Let's see. Hi, I'm new to using every dollar and using the trial to see if I want to stick to this. However, I can't wrap my head around using funds. I read the online help, but just something isn't clicking for me. Please help me understand how to use it so it is easy to maintain. Here's an example of what I did. Identified all my... Okay, so I don't know about every dollar because I don't use it. So hopefully there's 14 comments there. Hopefully they set him up. So basically the setting up funds thing is in every dollar. I'm assuming sinking funds. Alrighty, Zoo W33M4M4. Any other spouses of stay-at-home parent taking the long route on step 2? When my wife and I had our 2 daughters, we decided that her being a stay-at-home mom is something we both value. And as I suggested for the other people, then maybe at that point you working full-time isn't worth it. Because when it was going to take her income from $3,000 a month down to $1,800 left after paying for daycare, then is that worth it? Maybe you can make up that $1,800 elsewhere by you doing the childcare for both children and perhaps working part-time or doing some kind of work from home when at night or something like that, whenever you can. Let's see, her going back to work is not an option that is on the table. Alrighty, you get to decide that together. We were a typical in-debt household, 2 student loans, 2 cars, a personal loan for the roof. That's a roof. And my mother-in-law used to say it like that. And credit card debt. 11 months into step 2, and we have knocked out the credit card and our student loan. Great. Almost done with the roof, but now we've had to pause step 2 and stack cash because we found water damage in the bathroom and need to replace the full floor. Admittedly, this is... So what you can't let this turn into is, well, let's redo the whole bathroom then. You can't let it turn into that. And that, because that can relocate your baby steps in a bad way very quickly when you start doing that. Admittedly, this was pretty easy because step 2 has given us plenty of margin in the budget. Okay, great. The 2 cars on my student loan, the big Mama Jamma, Silhouette. We're going to blow through 18 for 24 months. It will probably be more like 36 to 48, even with 120K salary. And I'm feeling like I'm failing the program and not gazelle intense enough. Well, you look at the budget and see what you can do there. See what you can do without for a short time, couple years maybe, or less. So if you said you're going to blow through 18 to 24 months and then you say it probably, that's the wrong attitude, first of all. And so, and that of course is up to you. Do you want it to take 3 to 4 years? Or would you rather have it take it 2 years and then you give up some of the stuff that's in your budget right now? For example, great thing, and this can just be a little bit, but it all adds up. Maybe you have 3 or 4 streaming services. Knock it down to 1. That kind of thing. See, wherever you can do, and still, maybe you haven't, I understand, being a stay-at-home mom, maybe she can still do something that brings in a little bit of money. And overtime, work overtime as well. And so, I mean, it's all up to you. If your housing is costing too much. If that's more than 25%, like considerably more, a couple percent here and there, we can haggle. But if it's over the 25%, then you got to come up with that extra percent somehow by cutting out something else. You got to sacrifice in a different area if you don't want to move. If you are over the amount in housing. Smooth leather, 720. Relocating to Texas from California. Oh, congratulations on moving to America from Texas, California. Here's my situation. 26 in San Diego, California. Have about $86K in savings. Still live at home because rent is unaffordable. That's why it's good that you are moving to America. Congratulations again. I make about $65K. Made a little more than that. Almost $70K last year because of bonus and overtime. Okay. 0 credit card debt. Paid cash for the car I have. Excellent. Only debt is about $20K in student loans. Pay that off today with the savings. I want to relocate to Texas for work because California is California, and that is a great reason to do that. I work for a large financial services firm that has its main office in Texas. Great. I can pay the student loans off in full. Yeah, do that. I'm single. I like a Pringle. I added that. So just like one bed room condo or apartment would suffice, right? Don't need a single family house, right? What should I look for in terms of affordability? The cheaper you go, the faster the student loans will be pay off. Oh, well, you're going to pay those off anyway. So the cheaper you go, the more money you have to do other things like save for an eventual house. Great credit, doesn't matter, and can put down a good amount with my savings. 86K, so you have 66. 66 is decent. Yeah, I mean, if you're only getting a 100K, 150K house, 66 that would certainly be good. So, I mean, you don't have to, also what you can do is, since you're moving there for the first time, you don't buy a house. You rent there for a year until you decide you want to live there. And that is the advice for anybody moving to anywhere. Has anyone heard of GM Wright demand notes and invested in it? No, pure beginner here when it comes to investing, but a friend of mine has been investing there for 30 years and loves it. Okay. If your friend jumped off a bridge, would you do that? I was curious if anyone here has as well. Is it just better to invest in a Roth IRA with mutual funds? Almost certainly. I'll Google that to see what it is, but almost certainly that would be. Got about 7 to 8.5K a year to invest and just want to make the best move. I'm 33. Best move would be following the baby steps in order. But since you just asked about investing, I'll continue to focus on that. GM Wright notes. Let's see what Google says. GM Wright notes. Wright notes are unsecured demand notes from GM Financial offered in the U.S. by prospectives only. You can add to your Wright notes investment at any time. Earn daily interest on $500 what? Maximum deposit. Or minimum deposit, excuse me. Let's see what this says. A demand note, wholly owned. Wright notes earn variable rate of interest, and investors have access to their funds at any time. The interest isn't going to be more than mutual funds can make, I assure you. Your friend loving it. For me, it wouldn't be Trump. That would not trump making more money with mutual funds. Ecstatic Tiger 2534, doing well yet can't afford a home. That does happen. And that usually means you have to move away from the high cost of living area. Yep, called it. I called it, dude. Income 155K, net worth 400K, 32 years old, single but still a renter. I believe I'm doing pretty well objectively, but living in a high cost of living market with astronomical real estate prices has me endlessly chasing the market but never catching up. Yeah, it feels like I'll be stuck renting forever. Yep. And people never think about, oh, I could just move. People never consider that. About half my net worth is in 401ks, IRAs, right? About 120Ks and a high yield savings account as my down payment savings, okay? The remainder is individual investment accounts. Yeah, okay. So minimum price is too much there. Yeah. So 120K, that could almost buy you the whole house in a suburb in the Midwest. So you need to do like that other person and move away from that high cost of living area and move to America where we don't do it like that. So, or get your income, that's always an alternative too. Get your income up to high cost of living standards. Heavy is the crane. Did you ever, we will never be royals. Did you ever end up selling things to get out of debt? Did we? Yeah, I think we did. My ex-wife and I believe we did sell some stuff that we weren't using. I don't think it was like a crazy amount on that, but yeah, we sold some stuff. This month begins us selling things. We've got 5+ guitars, perfect stuff to sell. A drum set, a TV, some furniture, ice maker, and other kitchen appliances. Maybe sell one of our cars. Excellent. That's what you do. You put everything on the table and then just choose the best ones for you to get rid of as far as what you can sell them for and your attachment to them. What items did you end up selling which ended up being the highest and paid items you sold, and what were the best platforms to list them on? Our goal is to make 5 to 10K off the things we have and can sell. Yeah, thanks in advance. Baby step 2, flare. Make it happen, guys. I'm trying to think what I had that I would have sold. I believe my ex-wife sold some Longaberger baskets that she was not ever doing anything with, and they were just sitting in boxes. She wasn't displaying them or anything like that. Trying to think. I may have had some like collectible stuff that I sold, and of course, and I did like eBay as a side business stuff, not like mass production stuff, but like just every so often, if I would see something that was really cheap at a store, I would just check eBay for it to see what it was going for, and I would just buy it and sell it. BMark 0610, unclarities of traditional 401k, Roth 401k, and Roth IRA. All right, those are all different account types. Greetings. I mean, they're all retirement investing, tax advantage retirement investing. But other than that, different types. Greetings on baby step 4, retirement investing. And that's better than steps 1, 2, or 3. Absolutely. So congratulations on that. But there was never anything really clarified as to which accounts to put the 15% entry. For example, my employer has offered 2 types of 401ks, traditional and Roth. Not all employers offer the Roth 401k. Some only offer the traditional, right? Also, sometimes the Roth 401k is confused with the Roth IRA. Well, some people may be confused by that. It doesn't seem like you are. Which is a totally separate retirement account outside of your employer's 401k that you would have to open with a brokerage of your choosing. Right. That being said, let's see if there's any other more to the question here. Oh, okay. Let's see. That being said, Dave says to put 15% in retirement. Well, what should I be doing? My employer matches 4%. So would I. Okay, so here's how that works. Okay, so the idea is match. So you definitely do match because that's 100% return on investment. Match Roth because it's better to pay tax on the little amount of income of contributions than rather the huge amount of growth. So the Roth is free growth is how that works. So it's match, Roth, and then into traditional. So let's see. So what you would do is put 15% in your employer's Roth 401k, but then you will also have a traditional 401k because by law the company cannot put a match into a Roth 401k. They have to put it in a traditional. So you will have both at that point. So 22 people replied, so they probably explained it to them. So you would have both. So that's what you would do. Step 2. Then let's see, 15%. Then throughout the year, try to max out the Roth IRA on my own. No, you would do 15% only while the house is not paid off. So you're only doing 15%. 15%, and then the 4% match is just gravy on the biscuit. So that's extra. And so, but Dave wants you to have 15% skin in the game there. So let's see what the other option was. The 4%, no. And the Roth, the max out Roth IRA. Yeah, there's no need to do that. There's no need to do that. You can, if you're gonna be covered by the amount, if your 15% per year is less than the max on the 401ks, whether Roth or traditional, they're both the same amount max. I think it's 23,500 maybe now. Something like that. It did go up January 1st. So if you can do that, you only have to bother with one. And the only reason you would prioritize your own Roth IRA that you open and control fully by yourself would be if the employer's Roth 401k had limited options. And the investments in there are not as good as ones that you could get and have in your Roth IRA. That would be the only time you would prioritize the Roth, but you would still start with the match because, again, the match is 100% rate of return. So you would put that 4% in the Roth 401k, and then only if the investments options in there are not as good as you could get by yourself by opening a Roth IRA, then you basically don't need to open up the Roth IRA as an extra step unless, again, it depends on your salary and if you would max out the Roth 401k. Because if you do max out the Roth 401k, then that would be when you would definitely do a Roth IRA on top of that. All right, fun times. Crippling depression, anxiety. This from Switch Serious 6954. Does anyone else have crippling depression, anxiety because of your debt? No, I didn't like it. I didn't like it when I finally wised up and realized that I don't have to have that. That I could get rid of it and I could stop doing debt. Then I had less anxiety as the debt kept getting lower and lower. Let's see, big debt is owing the IRS. Well, sure. And I'm trying to figure it all out, but it is crippling. I feel like I have the biggest weight on my chest constantly. I'm hoping and praying that another income stream pans out so we can use all of it towards debt. But if it does pan out, it may take several more months. You mean if it doesn't pan out? Or even if it pans out, I don't know which one. I figure I'm fighting a losing battle right now, and I haven't even been a functioning member of my own family. Well, that is bad, and you're also on baby step 1, so that would be the first thing. Getting current is actually first, but you can work out a payment with the IRS. Payment plan with them, and so I would work on the payment plan with them, and then if you can pay it off early because you do get more money, and that's what you should do. If you're able to work more, just do nothing but work. So you're already not being a functioning member of your family, so you can, yeah, if you can go to work, and that might keep your mind off of it or something. I mean, that would, like you said, another income stream. Definitely do whatever you can to make that happen. And then if the debt is the problem, then you'll make that go down, and maybe then you'll have less crippling depression and anxiety. And of course, if you're not exaggerating on that, then you probably need counseling as well. So, and if it seems like money might be an issue for that. So see what insurance covers. If you don't have insurance, then check with your church or your local government to see what kind of programs they have that could help you as far as getting counseling. Henry Hollins, I get it, Henry Rollins. Let's see, as we enter tax season, how does one best distribute the money from tax refund to debt? Options below. Okay, so the first option is if you get a large refund every year, you need to adjust your withholding so that you get the money back through the year, because you having your money in advance, you can do much better by applying it to the baby steps over the year rather than having the government save it up for you and not giving you any interest. You're basically giving them a loan of your money and you don't earn any interest on it. And so it's better for you to have that money through the year rather than have them save it up for you. Let's see. One has, what do you mean one has? Not understanding. Let's see. Oh, assuming that one has. Okay, so we want to do theories here. It's not your particular situation, but that's what would Dave do. Flare. Okay. So one again. Okay, so it's any. Let me get the baby steps on the screen here. Okay, for those of you watching full screen and not on phones, shout out to the people watching phones. I realize that's probably most of you though. I don't know how to do this and cater it to phone people though. So let's forget about the changing the withholding and so forth. You still want to do that, but since you didn't, assuming you didn't do that and you will be getting a big tax return this year, you should apply any extra money to whatever baby step you're on. And so that's how easy. So you don't ever have to ask, well, what can I do with this money? Oh, this money is just enough to pay my car off. I'll do that. You shouldn't do that either. You should do the baby steps in order. So you should put the money, start with your lowest debt and pay that off and then keep going through it. So you just apply it to whatever baby step you're on, whatever part of whatever baby step you're on. Let's see. So one has completed baby step 1. So that means they would apply it to the lowest debt that was remaining and keep going up baby steps from there. One has outstanding debts, medical, dental, credit card, that have not yet gone to collections or court. Okay, so you can see if you can settle it. with those if they're outstanding, or you could just make them current. Whichever you have to do there with them, just try to negotiate with them. If you can settle it, great. Or if you just get it current and they say, okay, we won't take you to court, then do that. Let's see, one have some debts that have gone to collections. Collections debt, you put at the end, you do that later. You pay off your current debt, pay off all of the current debt first, and you just let the collection sit. And then after you're done paying off all that, then you just save up some cash to pay it. And every so often you can call them and make an offer and see if they'll take it as settlement. One has a debt that has been filed with the civil court, and you can still negotiate that out though with the person you owe the money with, the company you owe the money to. You can still contact them, and you can still reach an agreement outside of court, even though it has been filed. The debts in collection and filed in civil court have been verified through certified mail. Okay. Again, the collection debt you just let sit. I mean, there's nothing that's going to happen to you. They might call you every day, multiple times a day, but that's the word. They might mail you every day, email you every day. It's possible, but that would be it. So you would just, again, let the collection debt sit, let the current debt take precedence, and then you deal with the debt and collections later. I know Dave says pay off smaller debts versus snowball, but what if some larger balances are in collections or have even gone to court? In collections, if they're already in collections, you just let them sit. If they have been filed, like I said, you could still negotiate. Because you can reach it even after the trial or whatever has started. The case is being heard already. Even if that happens, you can still reach an agreement with the person you owe the money to or company. Fattested travel. All right. When the debt can't be paid, baby step one, flare. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out my options. I made a series of dumb financial decisions, haven't we all? And had some dumb things happen, hadn't that happened to us all? And caused the dominoes to fall. I'm trying to make a change. Excellent. I'm working on a budget and getting impulsive spending under control. Excellent. Just got a new job. Excellent. But can't fit the debt into the budget at all. The debt is what has to go into the budget. Some of the other stuff may have to go out of the budget. Credit cards are now 3 months behind and about to be closed out. Okay, so, I mean, that's up to you. You can let that go into collections, or you can try to get it current. I have a junker paid off car. Wasn't a junker, but after a wreck with an uninsured driver, it is now. Well, I hate the idea of not paying my debt. All right. See what else there is. Hate the idea of not paying my debt, but I'm also trying to work past shame to a plan, okay? A major area is that I owe $2,000 to a family member, and that is the most important to pay back because they are kind. But if I don't take care of it, then it will harm other relationships. How? Oh, because that's like somebody, well, why don't they loan me $2,000? So, yeah, you can pay off family first. That's fine as well. So, but unfortunately, you can't do everything. So maybe you got to work more then. Got a new job, get another new job that's part-time. Look at that budget again and get an X to it and get stuff out of there that is not a complete necessity. If you want to make a drastic thing happen, you have to take drastic action. Buying a car with cash from Sleeping Cow 7. I don't share my finances with friends, but I'm so excited I wanted to post here. Excellent. My husband and I are so close to purchasing a new, used, but new to us, right? Car with cash. They're doing it right, which is the opposite of doing it wrong. Any tips for not getting ripped off by the dealership? Yeah, don't buy from a dealer. Buy private sale. You will get a better deal buying from private sale because the dealer won't be taking a bite of it. And so either you selling a car or buying a car, leave the dealer out of it, go private, and that's how you keep most of your money. Or more of your money, rather. Fancy Barber 3069. If I would follow Dave Ramsey's suggestion, as I understand, Dave Ramsey suggests / recommends us to get rid of all credit cards, all debt in general, and do not worship to the FICO score. That's right, as someone worded it a couple days ago. Yep. Okay, let's say people are doing that. It doesn't matter if people are doing that. It only matters if you're doing that, if you want to. Because guess what? Not everybody's going to do that. We don't have to worry about people not doing that because people are always going to borrow more than they should. They're always going to do it. We're the weird ones. We're the minority. So that it's not going to be a problem. The economy is not going to have a problem because everybody gets out of debt. And so, you know, I mean, people take the Ramsey thing and they go into all directions for it. But that's just not going to happen because people aren't going to do it. People won't sacrifice for it. You have to be weird. You have to be abnormal. And you have to embrace it as well. And so that's what I've done. Maybe that's what you're doing. But it doesn't matter what people are doing. It doesn't affect you. Therefore, at some point, they do not have a credit score, FICO score, Vantage score. If anyone will pull the credit report of that person, got it. What do you mean? Oh, God. How are those kind of people with no proof of credit and credit history would buy a house? You can't just go with a bag full of cash and pay for a house, right? Yeah, you can if you save up enough, if you have a big enough bag, first of all, and you save up enough cash. Yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. But most people can't do that, so you can get a mortgage, and there's a thing called manual underwriting. Can you say manual underwriting? Sorry, I watched the Door movie last night. It was good. So manual underwriting. Yes, you can do that. And if you want to talk to a mortgage broker that is familiar with manual underwriting, then you would call Dave's friends at Churchill Mortgage. Oh, this is the same question, basically. What would happen to the U.S. economy if a significant portion of the population stopped living on credit and lived below their means? They won't. They will not. That's, you know, there's some things that you might want to invest time in to worry about, but that's not one of them. And so the idea is not to apply Dave's advice to the whole United States or even the world. It's to apply it to you. Because that's all you control, really. You control the person in the mirror. Some of us, not so well sometimes. But that's what you need to try to get better at and do that. And so you don't say, oh, instead of making the choice for yourself, you just expand it to everybody and say, well, what happened if it doesn't matter, because again, they're not going to do that. And also you can't control that. Focus on what you can control, and that's things that are going on in your life. Dave often says, what should be more important to you is what happens in your house, not in the White House. Let's see, what if most people that really can't afford it stop going out to eat and buying new cars and going on vacations? They won't. What would be the effect on the economy as a whole? If so, it would affect the economy greatly, but guess what? It won't, because it's not going to happen. People are not going to stop buying things they can't afford. So do not worry about that, my friend. Would there be a recession and then the economy would settle in at a new lower level of growth after a period of turmoil? What do you think? I don't know. And really, financial theory is dumb to me. You go with the situation that is facts, logic, and so forth. And so, we're not writing some fictional movie or a book, a story where something, oh, well, what if this happened? It's not going to happen. People will always want more than they can afford. So do not worry about the average human being, because they will definitely do that. And they're normies. Normal people do that all the time. You have to be abnormal to not do that. Be abnormal. Join us. Holy Grace. How much to save? 34 man, married with child, and earn a monthly salary of $6,500. I have a $3,500 debt. I'm interested in saving and then investing it. Well, let's look at the baby steps to see how that affects your life. What resources could help me determine a suitable monthly savings account amount based on my situation? That would be none. You do baby step 1, $1,000 as fast as possible. You have that in your first month, assuming it doesn't all go out the door in expenses. So that, hopefully, you would be able to have that in the first month out of that $6,500. And then you start step 2, and out of at least by the second month, hopefully, $6,500. Maybe you can't do it just in the 1 month because you have more expenses than that, but then you at least start paying off the $3,500 debt. And you do not save any more than $1,000 until you have all of that $3,500 debt paid off, and any other non-mortgage debt that you have. And then would be the time for savings, and then all of your extra money goes to the emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months of your personal expenses. And everybody says, I don't know whether to do 3 months or 4 months or 5 months or 6 months. It's up to you. You get to choose that. If you are married with a child, probably it'd be better off to have 6 months. If you're going to buy a house, or if you already have one, it'd be better to have 6 months. But like a single person, no job or life drama, 3 months is fine. So all that's up to you. So, but baby steps is the answer. Again, imagine that. Again, what in the world is going on here? Is this the same person? Did I see that name there again? No. What if everyone became frugal? They won't. Beat the Bush covered this video. Okay, in his video. Interesting. I wonder, I didn't know you could, I thought they would put these out. I thought they would get rid of these. Maybe it's you can't put do your own videos, but maybe this is the Beat the Bush guy and he's just using not Beat the Bush name on the Reddit and putting that on there. That's interesting. All right. Or maybe the mods looked at it and said, okay, well, this is interesting. An interesting debate here. But again, financial theory, and it's not going to happen. Long story short, the economy would collapse in spectacular fashion, then rebuild with companies focused on budget-conscious consumers, right? Our system needs fools in order for the economy to thrive. World economies can't afford to have everyone become financially aware overnight and avoid any and all unnecessary spending. They won't. Do not worry. They won't. Everyone should, sure, but they won't. Going through puberty there. Traditional ad 8521 says debit card policy on Ramsey Solutions website. I get they want you to only pay with debit cards, right? Okay. But I don't understand some of the language they're implying. People will be mad that they sold out by accepting debit cards on their site. What did people used to do? Mail a check? I don't know what you mean. Understand some of the language there. Implying people will be mad that they sold out by accepting debit cards? Are you talking about if they do credit cards? I mean, they can't tell if it's because I have a debit MasterCard, and that starts with a 5. That number does, and you're welcome. Don't hack me. But every MasterCard starts with the number 5. And so whether it's a credit card or a debit card. And so what did people do? Mail a check? Sometimes they did back in the old days. But yeah, I think they're mostly talking about using credit cards. And I don't think the system can't tell whether it's a debit card or credit card. And so they are challenging you with the honor system to not do that. Because otherwise, they wouldn't be able to take MasterCard payments if they didn't take credit card in addition to the debit cards, because there's no separating those. Intelligent debt 6543, car total loss and out-of-state relocation. It's always 2 things people want to do all at the same time. I get sometimes you plan to do something and like you know make plans to move, so like you're out of your lease and you won't have anywhere to live right at that same time, and then you get a car total loss right at the same time. But there's plenty of times where people are choosing to do 2 big things all at the same time. Like if it's not something that you had already planned to move out of state, you don't choose to move out of state after your car total loss. Let's see, you got a lot going on. Yep. In the last few weeks for me and my wife. For me and my wife and I could use another set of eyes on it. All right, they're on it. 4 if you count my glasses. Married couple bring home, I guess, over $300K per year. All right, wife is pregnant with 3rd child. Due any day now, 2 to 4 years old. Is what they have already. The other 2 are 2 to 4 years old. And another one, okay? Just before starting her maternity leave, she got furloughed, and we think the company won't take her back. We have an opportunity to move out of state, California to Ohio. Welcome to America. My pay would be cut to $140K gross. It's pretty cool. It's not gross. See what I did there? She would enjoy some maternity time and manage the installation before looking for a new job. Manage the installation? Like setting up a new house or something like that? So that's fine. You just have to deal with both of them. If you don't have to replace the car and move out of state in the same month, that would be fabulous. If you do, you do, and you deal with it the best way you can. If you have 2 cars, you use one during that time, no matter how inconvenient it is. And then once you get settled in Ohio, then you buy another cheap car. Win cash. Dangerous Cash. What up, Channy? Thanks for dropping by. Dangerous Cash _ 3466. Where to put money? Right here. We have a little over $600,000 in the bank. Obviously, have done all the baby steps. You would hope, but sometimes no. Sometimes people have $600,000 in savings and have not done all the baby steps yet. But this is not the case. Excellent. But I haven't paid off the house, so I am talking about you. You're doing it wrong. We probably have $675,000 mortgage left on a house bought last year. Right now, worth about $1.3 million with a 3.5% interest rate that we won't stay in very long. Why'd you buy it if you're not going to stay in it very long? We're in our 30s, have 3 kids under 5. Husband made a little under $600,000 last year. Wondering what to do with cash we have in the bank. I know letting it sit there isn't smart. How much to invest in risk versus low risk? Kids' college funds. All right. So what you do is you put it to whatever baby step you're in. If you don't have any other debts other than the mortgage, you would keep 3 to 6 months of expenses as an emergency fund. Since you have a mortgage, it should be 6 months of living expenses, an emergency fund. If you're already investing 15% of your gross income, you don't do any more than that, and you put it towards the house, and you get that house paid off. And then you can invest more once the house is paid off. And again, we deal with risk here. And Dave's advice is very risk averse. So you don't compare the 3.5% interest rate to what you could make in the market, because you don't do day trading. This is just saving for retirement. So this is not a temporary thing like a savings account where you can access the money. This money is gone until you retire. And so you wouldn't do that. That's debt leverage by having debt on the house and investing cash to try to make more money. So that's not Dave's advice. Jellybelly 326, really proud of the progress we're making on our emergency fund. Excellent. Took me too long to get my mind right with our wealth and finances. You and me both. Sister. Apparently, my husband and I have been debt-free almost 10 years. Excellent. We adopted the give every dollar a job budget method. Excellent. And it was great for paying off our debt and, more importantly, keeping us out of credit card debt. Great. We have no car payments and do not want kids. All right. Our only debt is our mortgage, $130K and 13 years remaining and 2.5% rate. People love the rates. We bring in between $6,500 and $7,000 a month, with more on the way as my husband just accepted a promotion anyway. Although we've been debt free as far as credit cards go, here we go. Now you're gonna make me. I said excellent for you for so much stuff, and now we're gonna do. Debt free as far as credit cards go. It constantly felt like we were just spinning our wheels. We would put some money in our emergency fund, hit maybe $8K, but we'd always pull from it for one reason or another these last 6 years. Okay, so you're doing it wrong unless every time you pulled from it, it was an actual emergency. It's called the emergency fund, not the I want that fund. It was mostly the house, mostly. New basement stairs. If they're broken, you got to fix stairs. But you don't have to buy the most expensive kind. Bathroom wall repair. You know, again, you can repair the wall, or you can like do a whole new thing where you repair the wall. And then you paint that one a color, and then you have to paint the whole thing a color, you know, and see, at that point, you're not doing emergency stuff there. Bathroom exhaust fan, that doesn't cost that much. Sump grinding, etc. Things that we should have been saving for outside of our emergency fund. Not really, because you don't really expect those to happen. I mean, you can do like if you seem to constantly have house issues like that, you can do a house repair sinking fund for sure. And then you don't have to touch the emergency fund, but hopefully that doesn't happen every, let's see, always pull from it. So the most they got was $800K. I mean, 8K. Is the most they got it up to, and then they keep hitting it. Let's see, last October, I got serious about our finances. Great. I looked at what we had in our 401ks with no other investment type account to speak of. So we each opened Roth IRAs, and you shouldn't be doing that before your emergency fund is full. So again, you're doing it wrong. My plan was to start contributing immediately, but then I was like, wait, we need to seriously get our emergency fund where it needs to be. So we know if something happens, we'll be covered for at least 6 months. All right, figuring it out. In October 23, we started with balance of $5,200, and as of this morning, we're sitting at $12,075.50. Is that what that is? There's a period here instead of a comma for the 12,000. So we're in our 5th month of focusing on the emergency fund. So $12,000. Yeah. No, okay. And I've got just short of 7K added to it, okay? I feel really good about this. I'm planning on pushing more funds through the end of the month. So we should come out somewhere around 12.5. All right. So it's getting there. It's not, probably doesn't sound like for you that would be 6 months of expenses, but it is getting there. And it's definitely better than the 8K you did have at most before having to touch it. Overall goal is 25K in emergency, okay? This is live comfortably for 6 months. Okay, so now what you got to think about, a lot of people include in that, they include investing amount and other things that aren't necessities. You don't have those in the budget for emergency time. You're only paying necessary expenses and you're cutting everything else out in emergency time. Of course, if something happened, we could stretch this probably 9 months. Right. By not investing, etc., etc. If we go the rice and beans method, yep. Which you should do in emergency time. So if we maintain this rate of saving, we should hit that 25K somewhere in November of this year, possibly September or October. Yep, make that happen. Anyway, just wanted to share. It feels really good to see those emergency fund numbers move up. We're not perfect, but we're making some headway. None of us are perfect. So that turned out excellent. Alrighty. Oh, time. Okay. Only did like an hour yesterday. I'll do more today. Emotional squash 895. Also tomorrow, Monday, February 19th, Ramsey Show after show. Right after the Ramsey Show video on YouTube ends, I'll be going live with the after show. Setting up a non-retirement mutual funds investing account advice. Setting up a non-retirement mutual funds investing account. Okay, that's right. Setting up a account. It would be an account there. Okay, too much with the words. How about finance? Do finance, Steve. Why shouldn't I use a financial advisor? You should use a financial advisor if you don't know what you're doing. If you can't teach yourself all about it, if you need help, that's what you pay them for. Just like anything else, you could teach yourself tennis or you could get a tennis instructor. Same thing. But this, of course, finance obviously more important than tennis. Although it is pretty fun. I've seen someone here saying both. So I'm curious for those that have these accounts to explain the pros and cons here. I'm using Fidelity and I'm very new to this, but I do want to split everything across large, mid, small, and international. At least that is my intention. Right, and that intention. That is the Ramsey split recommended. In those 4 categories, large, mid, small cap, and international. And again, that should be a 4-way split. So 25% of your 15% in retirement investing should go to that. And so again, the pros and cons, if you don't know what you're doing, you need help or you need to teach yourself about it. And it's easy to do that now with a little thing. We have the Google and the internet, because every bit of information on every single mutual fund is on the internet, and so that lets you pick them. That lets you see how how they're doing and how they compare against themselves, and of course the index funds. Now, a lot of people just do the index funds, but you can easily find managed funds that beat the index easily. So again, you just have to, if you need help learning how to do it, then that's when you would use a financial advisor for sure. You can also use a financial advisor just to make sure you're doing it right. But the problem is, if you already have money in Fidelity, your advisor may want to use, he may have some kind of deal with a different brokerage that it's in, or they may have their own, who knows. And then he would want you to move all the money to there. And then sometimes you don't get all the options at a different brokerage, but at Fidelity you can buy any mutual fund. It's Mother's excellent. It's worse than I expected. Okay, shouldn't have been a surprise as I've buried my head for the last 2 years. Yeah, that head burying thing, that does cause you to miss a lot of stuff. I know I'm going to hear some bitter truth in here. Alrighty. I made a mess and it's embarrassing. Well, we've all made messes. I've been in and nearly out of debt twice before. Each time there was a lump sum event. Sold house, car, emptied 401k. Shouldn't have done that. Selling house, sure. Car, definitely. Emptied a 401k, you do not touch retirement accounts unless it's to avoid foreclosure or bankruptcy. Cashed out all the stocks. Dave would tell you to do that if it's not in a retirement account. If it's just in a brokerage account, Dave would tell you to do that and pay off your debt with it. Or a new job. This time around, I see nothing coming to my rescue. I see. Yeah, because you sold everything already. And so you must have sold everything and then gotten more debt. Because if you sell your house, your car, you empty a 401k, cash out all the stocks, or get a new job, all that money should have gone to pay off your debt. And if it did and you took out more debt, then that is pretty bad. Let's see, there is more. Do not have the skill. Oh, let's see. I'm deeper than ever. Yeah, so you screwed up somehow. I'm deeper than ever, and for the first time in my working life, I don't have enough to cover my end of month bills. I do not have the skills to get out of this without some advice. I hope someone will help guide me. Below my self-inflicted $40K a month. Okay. $4,000. $10, okay. Outgoing bill monthly. Mortgage is about 25%. So that's acceptable. Auto loan, not $912. We have a winner. So we're talking about you sold a car and then you got another one on a loan. So you're definitely doing it wrong. So you sold one so you wouldn't have that debt. So you fixed it and then you broke it again by getting another car loan. Credit card debt, $920 to that as well. So there's your problem. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know that you could. I mean, if it's just you, maybe you can get that rent down cheaper than the mortgage. You can sell the house. And if you have any equity in that, then maybe that could help you clear up some of this debt. But otherwise, you just need to work, and then you don't do anything else. You don't have any expenses except absolute necessities. Credit card to loan, $300 a month. Orthodontist, $190. Power, $160. That is a lot. Be a little warmer sometimes. in the summer. Kick that thermostat up a little bit, and in the wintertime put on more clothes and turn that thermostat down in the winter. You save money on power, water. Verizon, $125. Mint Mobile, $25 a month. So, yeah, so that's too much for phone. Auto insurance, $250. Internet, $85. That's about what I pay, unfortunately. Hopefully we get fiber in here soon. ADT, $60. Maybe you cancel that. Music lessons, you definitely cancel that. That can happen after you are out of debt. No music lessons. Chiropractor, maybe you cancel that as well until you're out of debt. YMCA, cancel. Fuel, stop driving places just to work. Formatting sucks from copy pasta. That's funny. I did the best I could. Okay, so yeah, you're just doing it wrong, and you need to definitely go to a cheaper phone plan. If you can, you might be still paying for the dumb phone as part of this $125. So, but get out of that. If the phone is paid for, get out of it. Run far away. Mint Mobile. Again, the ADT, cut that out. Cut out the music lessons. Cut out the chiropractor. And again, this is not forever. This is just for a short time. YMCA gone as well. And the fuel, $250. Drive to work, and that is it. Don't be cruising around. And then also, there's stuff in it you're not saying. You know what's not on here is groceries. So that's probably a lot. But yeah, you really messed up by selling, because you sold every asset that you have. And what happened to that money? Did you pay everything off and then run it all back up? Because that is absolutely the worst thing you could have done. Absolutely. So sorry to hear that, but it can be addressed. So yep, get rid of car payment, absolutely, immediately. It's almost as much as your mortgage. So dumb, so dumb. So yep, just got to do the steps. Work more, spend less. Sell stuff. Anything that you bought on the dumb credit cards, sell it. Blissful Sunset 21. A scare tactic. Advice needed. Okay. Help. I received a call this morning on my personal phone, my work phone, and my husband's phone stating this. Good morning. This message is intended for omitted name regarding file omitted. My name is Rachel Evans, and my office is trying to reach you in reference to a formal complaint that is going to be filed against you in order to receive assistance and be able to address these pending allegations. What? It is important that you communicate back with the firm, Hank NG, this matter at the number. Again, okay, so you would Google the number and see what that is. But yeah, it could just be phishing. I mean, if you got it on each one of the calls, they definitely know where you are. They definitely have all your information. Please be advised that this call has been logged and submitted as proof that you've been notified of this matter, and for you to respond or result of the department having to move forward and proceed with the original course of action without consent. Okay, so that's just gobbledygook. And so I don't know that a phone call made and recorded is actually proof that you've been notified of it. Naturally, I called them back. I wouldn't. And they're trying to collect on a bank account charged off December of 2016, but opened when I was supposedly 17. They're threatening to sue me, and when I asked for more information on the account or something in writing, there was no other information this person could provide, as he is a mediator. Okay, have to wait for court papers to come. Okay, so if that's charged off, that's in collections, and that's just collections people trying to do that. The person was incredibly rude. Yeah, they mostly are. They're trying to intimidate you into paying. And it said he knew I defrauded this bank because it's associated with my social and license number. I have no knowledge of this account that was opened some 23 years ago. Any advice would be appreciated. Yeah, and they do that too. I mean, it might not even be a collector. It could be just a scammer. And they're just making it up. If you did not have that account, then you did not have that account, and you would not be able to open it up by yourself at 17 years old. You would have to have a parent on it. So that is, they're just trying to get money out of you. That's all. So unfortunately, you just have to ignore all those calls. Just block the numbers. If they want to sue you, they can sue you. Anybody can sue anybody. So if they want to sue you, they can do that, but you will be notified by a legitimate person if they do that. The baby steps and sinking funds. I first started the baby steps in July 2022, original post above. I had to replace a roof 6 months after the post. All right, okay, about that, let's stop. Had to replace a roof. Maybe the person did, I don't know. Maybe it was just one little shingle out of place, and then you call a roofer and ask about it and say, oh yeah, we got to replace this. But what you do is you get more than one estimate on it. Or not even an estimate on replacing the roof. You get them to say, you just get them to check out the roof. And ask them to take pictures of what they're talking about. Like of any problem spots, ask them to take pictures of it. And let's see. So definitely do that. Definitely get at least 2, if not more. I would probably do 3 minimum. People don't want to like deal with that, and they don't want to have to call somebody to get another estimate and so forth. People are lazy and they don't want to do that. So, but it could save you lots of money because that person could have been lying about you having to replace the roof. Maybe it could just have been repaired, but they wanted more money. Let's see, but then paid it off, about $70K in baby step 2 debt in 16 months. Great. Pre-Dave, I live paycheck to paycheck with no extra cash. My plan was to take a reverse mortgage, negative, in retirement because I figured I'd have no money. Now I know the future is bright. Excellent, thanks to his baby steps. They are pretty cool. I advise them. In baby step 3 now, and save 16K since November 2023. Excellent. My goal is to save 60K. 40K would be a 3-month emergency fund. That's a lot. That's a lot of expenses, dog. And like I said, this could be one of the situations where the person is including retirement investing and all kinds of unnecessary things in addition to necessary expenses. Let's see, 20K for general sinking fund. Okay, sinking fund, cars, vacations, and whatever big expenses I have. Keeping all in one high yield savings account. Okay, tracking the 2 on an Excel file. My plan is to save at least $500 a month in the sinking fund for life. Okay, that will make the rest of your baby steps take longer. There's always going to be something to spend on, and I never want to be without cash again. How much do you save monthly for all your sinking funds combined? Also, does anyone put their sinking fund money in a taxable brokerage account? invested in mutual funds to earn more interest. No, you do not do that. It's not actually earning interest as well, but regardless, no, you wouldn't want to do that because it could take a while to transfer back to you. So, and if it's going to be a sinking fund for something that might come up, that like with the car, you might want it before 3 days for the transfer. And so I would have that in a high yield savings instead, just in case. So yeah, I mean, I understand. See, the problem is it's not a sinking fund. And you said there's always going to be something to spend on. Well, sure there is, because you can always spend something. But the problem is the sinking funds for cars, vacations, and whatever else. So that you're mixing in necessities, which is transportation, and fun stuff, which is a vacation. So even though transportation and vacation rhyme, that doesn't make it okay to be considered the same thing. So I would not advise that. I would have one for one and one for the other, and I would not save for a vacation personally until I am done with my baby step 3 emergency fund. You shouldn't do any of that until you're done with baby step 3. And then I would also do my 15% of investing into retirement before I would start planning a vacation. And then you save up money after the investing if you don't have to address kid college and pay off the house early as well. Because if you have to do all of that, then you want to do as little vacationing as possible. Because all that, everything, you're talking about $500 a month, you're just making your baby steps take longer. Devil at the Crossroads. How should I prioritize deferred loans and collections accounts for the debt snowball? The deferred ones you can still pay off early. Collections accounts, you just let those sit and you pay off your current debt first, and then you would do collections later. And the longer you let them sit, theoretically, the more you can get a discount for settling in full. $15K in student loans deferred through the SAVE plan, so 0 monthly payment and 0% interest for now, at least through the rest of this year. Yeah, see, that's the problem. You don't want that to come back. But $15K might not be your lowest debt, so I mean, because you can consider all those as one loan, but it sounds like they're multiple loans, so I would still include them in the debt snowball, smallest to largest. Also about $7K spread out among different accounts that are all charged off. That is what you let sit. Some still being handed off, but essentially all in collections. You just let that sit, do current debt. I'm wondering if I should prioritize the debt I'm current with. Yes. Over collections, yes. Or if none of that matters, it matters. Oh, and I should just pay off smallest to largest. Yes, you should. Smallest to largest. With the exception of you do collections at the end of the debt snowball. Silver 1110. Well, we did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Loisima, we did it. Just wanted to share with anonymous stranger because it's weird to announce to friends and family after approximately 8 years of work, we're everyday millionaires on paper. Excellent. Well, however else would you be? That's a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think that millionaire means you make $1 million a year. That's not it. It's that you have $1 million net worth, and that includes your house. And most millionaires, that house is a big portion of that million. Started out very firm with budget, but once we went debt free, we switched to tracking expenses versus budgeting. All right, easy to tell what's going on. Well, that way, I see you're just doing the expenses and then looking at it after and going, that's all right. 20% to 401k, too much if you didn't pay the house off. Set up money market savings, high yield savings too. I don't know why you would have both. Why not put everything in the high yield savings account if it's more than what the money market is making? I mean, basically they're the same thing, but I don't know why you need to have both. Maybe different sinking funds. Who knows? And making great progress with those. Never thought we'd get here. And baby step 6, so they are doing it wrong. Only 15% to retirement. Gross income, 15% of gross income. Didn't even realize, actually, until I happened to see our net worth listed in Quicken. Shout out to Quicken. For us personally, once we split up paychecks into 50% household account, 30% personal account, and that's not how Dave recommends you do it. He recommends you follow the baby steps and his guidelines. 10% savings and 10% money market. So it seemed to fall into place. Okay, that's great. If it worked out for you, great. We also went rogue per Dave anyway. Yep, and use Amex Platinum for literally every single purchase. Then we pay off each charge as it posts. Use those points for a first-class international trip later this year. Thanks for reading. Just had to tell someone. Stick with it. You'll get there. Promise. They're doing it wrong. They'll probably be all right, though. So it's just not the best way to do it. The proven way to do it. Millions of documented success stories for Mr. Ramsey, but they will probably be fine, and I'm even fine with having done the song for them. Chet Holmgren sings, all right. Chase Bank offered me a 20% of debt charge-off. What? Am I pushing my luck if you can ask for anything. If I ask for 10% plus deletion, what does that mean of the, like to take it off of the credit report as a charge-off? I'm also a bank customer with them since 2018. And that bank account has always been in good standing. Why would they offer you 20% of debt charge-off then? What would be the need for that if it's in good standing? That is very weird. Also curious if I'm pressing my luck. Asking if they'll reconsider allowing me to have a credit card again in the future. So something happened there. Because they don't just, it's in good standing. We'll just go ahead and offer you a 20% of debt charge off just because we're nice. It's a bank. They don't do that. Allowing me to have a credit card again in the future. So something happened. That's all I'm saying. Some happened to Chet Holmgren sings. Maybe he has some songs about it. Credit card account was closed in 2021 after getting behind during the pandy. Okay. So I wonder if... So maybe that's a checking account he's talking about that's in good standing always. So I wonder why that would be included in that, unless they just want to... But I mean, you still have the debt, so it's not a bank account unless the bank account went negative. You wouldn't have any debt on that one, so it must be the card. And even though it was closed in 2021, they still have that debt. I guess some banks do that where they're their own collections. After getting behind during the pandy, the old pandy. Gotten some voicemails from them in recent months, which I ignored, of course. Recently got an hour offer of 20% charge off in either a lump sum or 2 payments. The total debt is high 4 figures. I'm curious if it would be pushing it down. No, you can ask for whatever you want to. I'm still unclear on exactly what's going on, but it sounds like... So So I guess it's their collections, and they're giving you an offer of 20% off, but you still have to pay the 80% of what you owe. That's what I'm guessing, and so that's generally not the idea on collections. But the bank account you're saying that's always been in good standing, I don't know why you would owe money on that. So unless because it's at the same bank, I mean, they when you sign the papers, it says they can take money out of one account to pay for fees or negativity in another account. So unsure what's going on there in that one. IC Safe 780 Safe. Where's Dave? Any idea where Dave has been? He hasn't been on the show in weeks. So sick of Jade. Well, I mean, the co-hosts are gonna be there. Dave wants them there, no matter how many people say they don't like this co-host or this co-host, and they like it better when Dave's there. That's not going to stop Dave-cations from happening, and he has been on vacation, I think Cabo, and when you own the company, you can approve your own vacation whenever you want to. And so it doesn't matter if you don't like the other hosts that are on there. You always have the opportunity to not watch. But most people like to watch and complain instead. Seems like to me. Vegetable Cabinet 90, looking for budgeting advice. Share your best tips. Don't spend money on anything except the baby steps. Looking for budgeting advice. Share your best tip. Hey everyone. Hi guys. That's my influencer voice there. Hi guys. I'm on a mission to improve my budgeting skills and save some extra cash. Do you have any budgeting tips or tricks that have worked wonders for you? Whether it's cutting back on expenses, yeah, do that. Saving for big goals, do that. Or managing everyday spending, do that as well. I'd love to hear your advice. Let's help each other out and master the art of budgeting together. Okay, so if you're new to budgeting, you might not get it right. Some people, like, they would take something like groceries, and like where they had been spending $2,000 previously, they might set it to $200, which that's probably not realistic. And so it does take a few months for you to get the budget settled, sorted, and then you give yourself at least 3 months before you start fretting about it, and you just keep trying. Eventually, you'll figure out, oh, here's what the minimum has to be for groceries, that kind of thing. And you can still keep trying to cut that, what you think the minimum needs to be, down. Of course, you keep doing that. But basically, you look at everything you spend money on, open up your online checking account, and then you see everything that's in there. So if you're not even aware of what you're doing, first you have to be aware of where every dollar is going to, and that's where their app got the name from. Bonnie Bell, 29, college savings. I work for a university, and as part of the perks of my job, I get 70-90% off of tuition for myself, my spouse, and my dependent. So how do I factor that into college savings? So it depends if you still have to be working there when your dependents are going to be going there or not. Or if that's for life, if you can apply it to your child that is born while you're working there, then you can factor that in. You should probably still save some, but you can certainly factor that in if it's guaranteed. If it's that you have to be working there at the time when they go to college, then at that point it's less certain because you might not be working there. Life changes, so you can't count on that. Like I said, so I would get clarification on whether that happens or not. So, and you don't count on it if you still have to be working there, because you can't guarantee you'll still be working there. Nobody knows what can happen. Always in motion is the future. Advice needed. I'm looking at getting rid of my car for a cheaper vehicle to do away with my biggest monthly expense. I owe about half on my loan. Can I trade it in at a dealer to help lower my payment? The last thing I want to do is refinance my loan. You would sell it privately because you're trading it in. Anytime you involve a dealer, they're going to take a bite out of it. And you would like to keep that bite amount of money. And so you buy and sell private sale. About half on your loan. And so if you're underwater, well, you say it's about half, so probably you're not underwater, and that would be great. But if you were underwater, then you would get a smaller loan, which Dave is fine with you getting a $2,000 or $3,000 loan, or just for example, $2,000 or $3,000 loan to replace a $10,000 loan. He is fine with you doing that because that is in essence paying off debt. That is reducing your debt. So yeah, you do not refinance. You sell it. You got too much heat, I guess. I don't know. Only 12 comments. Must got too much heat from that. Deleted the screen name. That happens on the Reddit. Happens everywhere. Screen long jumping. 287. I need to cut costs in my new budget. Do it. So recently I had a major life change and it really screwed me over. Well, maybe you shouldn't have made the major life change then. Or it was something that you didn't have control over. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get the full post on here. That is War and Peace right there, kids. Lots and lots of words. Let me get some water before I... This episode of Answering Your Financial Questions brought to you by Crinkly Water Bottle. So I recently, I did that one. Just trying to make cuts where I can and not be so cutthroat. No, you have to, if it's a major life change and it has really screwed you over, you do need to be cutthroat. Make $32.50 a month. I sort my bills monthly as I get paid monthly, okay? I was with a guy, Men's, am I right? For a year, and we had moved in together and split bills. Do not shack up because this can happen. My bills at this time were as follows: phone $120, car $350. I have my rent $650, half of all utilities $100, my half of Wi-Fi $25, my half of home insurance $15. My car insurance $170, $250 gas. My divorce debt $450. Bark box for the pup $38. Credit card $48. Dog food $30. Bringing my total for bills every month to $2,246. I was using the extra to try to pay down my debts faster. November 23, I bought a truck. Does that mean you got a loan for that? Car gave out and I couldn't pay the $7K to fix it, so I traded it, bringing my car payment to $565 and my insurance down to $120. This brought my new monthly total to $24.11. I was still doing okay. I think not. Because somewhere in there where you decide to do the Ramsey stuff, baby step 0, part of baby step 0 is you decide you're not doing debt anymore. Like, ever. It all came crashing down when the guy I had been with quite literally changed his mind overnight. Men's, am I right? It's not just men's. I'm just joshing around. His mom tried to talk some sense and figure out what was going on. He had no rational reason that any of us could find. People don't have to have rational reasons. People just do stuff. People are nutty. He just had to move to his new home, his home state. No, he didn't. He chose to. He chose that over staying with you. And there was nothing anyone could do about it. And that's fine. See, that is why you don't link up your financial life to just some guy. It doesn't matter how long you've known him. It doesn't matter, if he's your boyfriend. And the same as vice versa. You don't just link up your financial life to just some female. You don't do that. You combine the finances like that and live together after you are married. And so I did a video about an article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday that was about people under 40 not agreeing with Dave Ramsey, saying Dave Ramsey is wrong about his investing advice. And one of the things it talks about is, they want to, live with friends and so forth, and to reduce costs and so forth like that. This is why you don't do that. This exact situation is why you don't do that. So, pretty dumb. So this is why you don't do that. Okay. And so let's see. And just like that, he left and we had to sell the place we were staying in. So you were buying it? This says rent. That says rent there, and now they owned it? It was joint owned and agreement couldn't be reached. Okay. That's probably the best thing anyway. So I had to quickly find the cheapest place to rent that I could. I do not have people to help me, and are staying with my family is all pretty far away. They're military, both sets of parents, and they both have 2 kids each that are minors, so no extra income to help me when things get hard. These are my new bills, some of which I've already tried to cut down. Power 150. That should not be average power bill for renting, unless it's a big house. Let's see, rent $11.40. She says, yeah, this was cheap, and so it might be a high cost of living area, and so you might have to move from there. Truck $565. Again, that would be sell the truck. Truck insurance, yep, gas. If I buy regular instead of premium, thanks to the trade-in, and I now live closer to work than I did when I lived with my boyfriend. Justification station, still sell the truck. Phone 61, not crazy. The last person had twice as much for phone. Divorce debt still $450. Credit card, so you gotta stop doing loans. Stop doing debt. Leaving me only $289 for food and hygiene for the entire month. Well, then you make that work. You're just one person. You should be able to make that work. I tried to work a second job, but wound up in the ER. I have POTS. I don't know what that is, and can't work back to back like that. Tried multiple times, and body just can't perform at that level, and I've landed in the ER every time. I tried to work 2 jobs. Your second job maybe needs to be something you're sitting down the whole time. I want to so badly. I did when I was a teenager. I guess I can't anymore, but I'm only 25 and feel like I should be able to. Maybe if it's 2 active jobs, maybe that's the problem. You probably want to be sitting down at one of them. So you can still maybe do that. I don't know, again, what POTS is. POTS, so I don't know, but see what you can do with that, or maybe have your other job be part-time if it wasn't before. I'm trying to find a roommate, and again, the same thing could happen there, and then you would have to just find another roommate, or you'd be all of a sudden and not be able to afford things again. I've been looking ever since I moved in. I just really need to trim this down. I tried to cancel the BarkBox, and I can't because it's a year-long subscription. I want to try to trade the truck, but it'll be upside down. I feel so stuck. You would borrow the money to pay the difference for what you're upside down in, because, again, that loan would be so much lower than the entire loan on the truck. And so that's probably all you can do there. Maybe you can rent a little cheaper. Or you might have to move out of that area if it's a high cost of living area. You know what? YouTube, $23. Get rid of it. You don't need YouTube Premium or YouTube TV. You do not need that. And so just see if there's anything else there. Again, the power 150. What are you people doing with all that power? For just a for one, maybe she got a 2-bedroom. Why did you get a 2-bedroom? So you're talking about getting a roommate. Why'd you get a 2-bedroom? Did you get a 2-bedroom because you said, "Oh, I can get a roommate," and then now you haven't been able to? So you're just doing all this to yourself. But yeah, how you cut costs in the new budget is you find it and cut costs as much as you can. Waves of Green, 28, 529 questions. So my mom gifted me a 529 when I went to college, okay? It paid for the entirety of my degree. And I still have left over in it. I don't have kids yet, but I'm planning on having kids within the next few years. Do you think it would be beneficial to start depositing some money now into the same 529 and then change the beneficiary from me to them when they are born? To them, or should I wait until they're born and then start depositing? I'm still catching up on some debt before I start, but I like planning things out fully. Okay, so where you would do that, my friend, is once you are in baby step 7, you would do that. Actually, baby step 5, but there does have to be a child first. So you don't do that in advance. You use that money to progress along the baby steps. And then when baby step 5 applies to you, that's when you would start doing that. But for now, I mean, you can keep the 7K in there. You don't have the 6K. You don't have to liquidate that. Should I move to a cheaper apartment to help pay off debt and save for a house? Yes. I'm currently, because there shouldn't be a house if there's debt. So debt first, and then stay in the cheaper apartment while you save a larger down payment. I am currently working on paying off my debt. I have roughly $8,000 in credit card debt. $5,000, $5,000, $550 for a personal loan. I co-signed with my ex. Beep, 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 doo. Oh, he is making payments on it. Great. Thought you were going to tell me that he wasn't making payments on it. Men's, am I right? But he has been wanting me to help make payments. Well, you're equally responsible for it. You co-signed despite it being, even if it was all for him, that doesn't matter. Your name on it equals half. And then if he bounces out on it and doesn't care about his credit, and you do, then you have to pay that whole thing. I also stupidly co-signed on a car. You called it. You called it, dude, with him, which I believe he still owes about $10,000 on. He doesn't always make his payments on time, and this is why you don't do that dumb stuff. And you shouldn't do it regardless of you're under 40 or over 40. It's still dumb, no matter what. Almost got the car repoed. After taxes, I make roughly $3,500 a month. My situation, rent is going up $975 per month. In July, I have the option to move to a cheaper apartment, $675. Again, that's $300 a month. Do it. Both places are 2-bedroom, 2-bath. The cheaper one is actually a little bigger due to the layout, which would probably be helpful since I have one child. The downside is if I move, I would have to buy a washer and dryer. Basically, the differences in apartments is, see, you don't make moves that have a cost associated with them. Like you wouldn't, if you have debt, you would not sell a house, but then also put a bunch of money into the house and repairs and such like that. You just sell the house for less. Because a lot of times you wouldn't even get the amount you spent in it from the buyer. Basically, different apartment, but both stainless steel versus white. None of that matters. None of that matters. Only the money matters for this. I actually used to live in cheaper complex, not the same unit. It wasn't a bad place to live. Okay, great. End goal is buy a house. You got to get done with your debt first. Debt and full emergency fund first. So don't be thinking about that house too much. I tried to apply for a home loan last year and was turned down. Thank goodness. That was before the ex started slacking on the payments. I have absolutely nothing in savings. If I did move, the money would come from my tax return and change your withholding so that you don't get a big refund. You do not want that. You want to have your money on each check so you can apply it to your baby steps. Whatever baby steps you're on is where that would go. If I stay, my rent is going up roughly 5% a year. If I move, I'll save quite a bit per month, but will it be worth it? $300 a month is worth it. The buying the washer and dryer, I don't know. I mean, that would be cost effective. If you spent $300 a piece on those, that would be cost effective after 2 months, but it would be a loss for the first 2 months. Also, I pay $700 per month in daycare expenses. All right, so I don't know what to tell you. You cut whatever you can cut. So if you don't have a budget, you do a budget. And you cut unnecessary expenses. It's rough. And so this is, anybody listening, this is why you don't co-sign for anybody. It doesn't even matter if they're family. You do not do it. Time fall, small steps. As of today, I have one bank issued credit card, 661 score, doesn't matter. Just over 200 in collections, excellent. So why are you worried about your score if you have money in collections? Weird. Paying it down, vehicles paid off already with title. My gross annual income $38,860. What are some reasonable things I can do from now until 2025 to really get my credit up? What would Dave do? Not any of that stupid crap you're talking about. Because one time a lady called and asked how she could start to build credit for her little kids. You know, like should she get the credit card in their name and so forth. And he said, that is a dumb butt idea, lady. And it is. So this might be a troll. But anyway, yeah. So, I mean, you know, I get it. Okay, if you're, you know, on here and open to hear from other people just because you can't find the finance page and you put it on the Ramsey page, great. But then the person chooses this what would Dave do flair. And Dave would not tell you to get your credit up, to not even worry about your credit. It's your fault that it's too low or that it's lower than you want it to be because you have debt in collections. So that's pretty stupid. Don't do that stuff. If you are in a motivational rut, go browse our layoffs. I remember the stories I heard in 2008 aired. Dave was front and center during that time with his listenership exploding. So many people called in with desperation in their voice, having been laid off. Yeah, I'm sure it's bad in there. I'm sure. You know, that's rough. Layoffs are rough. You got to find another job. Leading fee 5645 investment advice. What's the best small cap, mid cap, and foreign EFTs? I use Vanguard and would like to diversify beyond VU and VTI. Well, Dave would tell you not to do index because you can make more with managed funds. So that would be it. And so 26 there. Hopefully they have helped this person who I don't think was looking for Ramsey-esque advice. Jamie XR finally did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Loisima, we did it. Just a little celebration that I both reach. Baby step 1, and paid off my first outstanding debt. Was only 130, but still, yep, using that snowball method this week. Great. Feel really pumped, ready to tackle my credit card debt next. I never knew about spending money. Could actually feel good and not like stressful and guilt-ridden. LOL. I've been wanting to actually do the baby steps for years, but now it's really happening. Have a great day, y'all. Baby step 1, flare. Actually, need to change that to baby step 2. Congratulations. Baby step 1, low court, 775. I'll do a couple more. For those that completed baby step 1, did you put anything extra towards first debt? Well, you should, or still paid minimum until after you say, oh yeah, you should save the 1K first and then start doing extra. Just minimums until you get that $1,000. Phrase material, phrasing. What do you do for a living? Career, job, side hustle. Hello everyone, I'm curious about people's careers. So what do you all do and how much do you make? I'll start with me in military, make 91K. Congratulations. Responsibility, sure. And thank you for your service, of course. Responsibility, sure. 54, how to keep a job. I'm struggling here. I'm 24 and I'm mentally disabled. Me being slightly upset puts me in my bed for a week. The Lord's disciplined for years when I thought I was invincible. Alrighty. I always feel like I'm swimming underwater. Anyways, Dave says to get a high-paying job higher than 36K per year. Yep. But I'm in between doing independent contractor jobs and holding a real job with a 401K and all. I had a jobby job. But then I don't know what that means. But then I was fired from that. I was a teacher, okay? I felt like if I apply to another, the same thing will happen. What do? You do the best you can to keep the job. You stop doing stupid stuff. I understand you're mentally disabled. You need to find a job that you can do and continue doing without getting fired. Odd negotiation, 8625, seller rent. Have a dilemma, bought a house last year. I love my house. Why don't you marry it then? Let's see. The problem is that the job market here is pretty bad. But yet you bought a house there anyway. I'm having multiple interviews from out-of-state companies. I'm thinking of either selling it or renting it out. Okay, so you don't rent it. If you never wanted to be a landlord until you thought about selling your house and moving, then you don't be a landlord. Only if you've wanted to be a landlord your entire life. It is not for everyone. So do not do that. You sell it and then you use that money to buy a new house. And becoming a long distance landlord, you can't do that. You'd have to pay somebody to manage it, and then that is more fees, and maybe you only break even or don't make any money at all after that. Since I've had it for a year, I still owe a lot of money on the house. Okay, so yeah, so you need to sell it. So you don't keep it. My goodness. Absolutely sell it. I'm currently working 2 jobs. I'm making around 150K a year. One job is fully remote. I'm looking for some advice. I owe around 320 on the house with a signal guy. Any advice would help. The monthly payment is around 2.5K. Yeah, you would sell that. Student debt is around 10K. Pay it off. Have no credit card. Recently paid off. Excellent. If I sell the house, I can rent a cheaper place and become debt-free in a year. Do it. Should I call Dave, or y'all have this one for me? Yeah, you follow the baby steps. And you sell that house. You don't be a landlord while you have debt. You don't buy a house without a full emergency fund either. So yeah, rent cheaply. How about one more? Let's see. While life insurance. I think they probably mean whole life insurance. Withdrawal, surrender. Question: when surrendering a whole life insurance policy, do you pay taxes on the money earned? Yeah, if there's any capital gains on the investment portion of it, yeah, you will. Let's see, we paid in 15K, cash value around 59K. And what does that look like? That would be capital gains at your rate, i.e., does it get taxed automatically, or will I have to remember that when filing for taxes next year? That is a good question. I don't know if that, I don't think that would get taxed automatically. I think you will have to save that yourself. Not the best with stuff, so explain to me like I am 5. Yeah, so here's what you do. When they give it to you, and it's not as much as you think it is, and you ask why, and they say, well, we got to take the taxes out, then you'll know they're taken care of, probably. It may not be the exact right amount, though, so you may want to still... Oh, let's see, edit, call to check on the status of the surrender paper, and they conveniently forgot to mail it. Yep. Also followed up on the dollar amount because it wasn't making sense to me. Invest 15K. And cash out at 59K is a great return, right? Turns out the previous rep misspoke, and it's only $900 payout. And then people wonder, why doesn't Dave Ramsey like whole life insurance? Not a happy camper right now. 14K thrown out the window. Yep. Similar to Dave Ramsey in this YouTube video. It was a good high school friend that my wife and I both trusted, who was starting out, that got us on our plan. Right. That's how a lot of them are sold, because they're to friends or family. And it is the dumbest investment that you can do. Feel like an idiot and betrayed. Yep, I would not be friends with that person anymore. Also wondering how many people out here continue to be naive like myself. You try not to be. So, I mean, you hadn't been in this situation before. Going with a friend or a relative is not a good idea to do any type of business transaction with. Even if it works out, it's just best not to mix friends, family, and business. And don't realize how much money is being thrown away. Well, you couldn't have known that unless you had seen Dave Ramsey talk about it previously before you got it, and you didn't cash it out after you did hear about what he has to say about it. But just pay more attention now. Try to find out everything you can find out that you don't know about finances. If you have any questions about anything, what you do is you go to the YouTube and you search Dave Ramsey and then the subject, like Dave Ramsey investing. Now you're going to get people that crap on his investing strategies and so forth, his investing advice, but you don't pay any attention to those. You just watch every video that comes up when you search Dave Ramsey investing, and then you'll have a better idea on investing. He doesn't tell you what mutual funds to buy. He gives you a guideline for what you're looking for. And so you can just do that. And you can do this with any question. So Dave Ramsey Whole Life, there's no shortage on YouTube of videos. And so unfortunately, you didn't do that before you bought this, or you wouldn't have bought it. It's already been bought. All right, one more. I just love this so much. Label love. How long did baby step 3 take you? I'm following the steps, and this will be a good story too. And I'm on track to complete step 2 within the next year. Looking ahead to step 3, it seems like it could take a very long time to save up 6 months of expenses. At that rate at the rate that I can save, well, you can save more if you're not paying money to debt. Everything you're paying to debt now, you can put in the emergency fund. The very fastest that I could have 6 months worth of expenses banked is 24 to 26 months. Maybe you need to work more, spend less, cut more out of the budget, sell stuff you're not using regularly. And that's assuming I cut out vacations. Cut out vacations, you should already be doing that. On baby step 2. There's no vacations on baby step 2. There's no traveling on baby step 2. And any extra expenses that may come up, like being in a friend's wedding, no. Which I realistically wouldn't cut out. You should. Is this normal? I know the system requires patience as a long game. Yeah, it is. And so you got to make sacrifices, and that would be one of them. Now, if you're talking about just being a bridesmaid, that's fine, okay? So you got to get a dress. So that's fine. But any other expenses you don't buy a plane ticket to Hawaii so you can be in your friend's wedding in Hawaii. You don't do that if you're on baby step 2. So let's see. Let's see the rest of this. I know the system requires patience and a long game, but I still want to do my stuff. But I'm curious if this is longer than most people. Yeah, I think so. I mean, over 2 years. Yeah, I think you got too much in expenses. And also the expenses for the emergency fund, again, that would not include investing, because as soon as you're in emergency, you would not continue investing. So it's stuff like that that could be cut out. You don't have to include in the emergency fund. Also, if you're single and you don't have a house, then you can probably do 3 months instead. I understand if you want to do 6 months, and you certainly can, but that is also maybe limiting you as well by waiting for the 6 months. It all depends on your particular situation. Lease fleece, same thing. Difficult boot, 2679. Please, someone explain to me why the lease is a scam. What is it? Car and Driver Magazine said that leasing an automobile is the most expensive way to drive. My parents never leases their cars, always paid cash. My wife and I do the same, but so many people lease. I want to be able to understand why it is the financially imprudent choice. I've also always just taken as gospel, but I'm realizing I don't fully understand the why, and I want to learn. It's because of the surrender. You're making payments on it, on the lease, but then there's after the end of the lease period, there's a surrender that you have to do. And if you go over a certain amount of miles, you owe them money. And so, and there could be other fees as well. And so that's why. Question for the cash envelope people. Okay, I'm not one of those, but I can do that. Oh, actually, I forgot to say, how long did baby step 3 take you? Okay, so it took me a long time, and so I was certainly doing it wrong, as I would tell everybody else. I myself was doing it wrong at one point. So I get it. It can happen. And it just so happened that baby step 3 happened for me. Right at the same time I was just divorced. And so moved out on my own. So I wasn't seeing my son as much. And such, and then also an ex-girlfriend, and so forth, and I was just in a bad place, and I didn't really hunker down and get it done, unfortunately. So it was 5 years, and I still didn't have that baby step taken care of. So when that ex-girlfriend broke up with me, I just sat around all the time playing video games and watching stuff. And it just occurred to me, oh, I'm just sitting around playing video games and watching stuff in free time. I could be working instead. So I got a second job, a part-time job. And I did that for 4 hours before I went and worked 9 hours at a computer repair place. And so I not only did the baby step 3, also worked longer there. I worked there for, I think, 4 or 5 years. And so I did investing. Did some catch-up investing as well. Also mustard investing. Just kidding. So that's the dealio on that. I forgot I was going to say that. Okay, let's do cash envelope and then we'll call it a stream. And then tomorrow will be Monday, February 19th, and the Ramsey Show After Show will start. Will have started by now at this time tomorrow. And it happens right after the Ramsey Show video on YouTube is over. Marley and the Whalers, question for the cash envelope people. For those who have actually taken on the cash envelope challenge, where you actually only spend cash in an envelope for each budget category, have you found that it dramatically changes the psychology of spending? I never did that. My ex-wife and I just stuck to the budget and used debit cards. So I never did that. But I would imagine that, it's been proven, studies have proven that it is harder for people to pay out cash to separate themselves from cash for something than just swiping a card. Or now, inserting it, putting the PIN number in. And so, yes, it does change the psychology of spending. I remember Dave brought up a study, showing some of the neuroscience and of spending your cash, sent through some of the endorphins related to pain, right? Using debit card was a milder pain response, absolutely. And using a credit card actually gave a neurochemical pleasure response. To those of you who devoutly, probably just assuming, using the cash. Okay, well, let's find out exactly. Instead of me guessing, why not? Why not? We're both here. I'm talking, you're listening, so let me go ahead and find out what this question is. Those of you devoutly accepted cash as the one true payment method, so I have not, so I can only guess. Have you personally found that your thinking has been altered as a result? I'm very curious to know, thanks. I'm very logical, and so to me, I can just use the debit card, and I take the card out, and I know that's my checking account. So I know that is cash and not debt. And so I know it's my money, so I know it's cash, and it's not a credit card. But I know that. So I can keep that in my head and differentiate it. And so for me, it's basically the same as using cash. But for some people, it's not. Some people have to do the envelope system, or they can't stick to the budget, or they spend too much. Just because of using a card is different for them for some reason. And for me, it's the same. Alrighty. Let's pull that up. Alrighty. Again, thank you so much for the 3,000 watched hours. And once again, I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere in the world. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Also, Cash App, $Coach Steve Money. Or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can have my Instagram Coach Steve Money. And of course, the YouTube channel, youtube.com/coachstevemoney. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. See you tomorrow.